Hi, are you a parent looking for a wonderful story to gift and read to your children for St. Patrick's Day? Well, I'm Jennifer, the traveling publisher, and I'm here with author JoAnn Lakin Jackson, who created this wonderful story, which is perfect for St. Patrick's Day, which is just about upon us. And JoAnn has kindly joined me here today to talk about writing and publishing her book. Hi, JoAnn, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
So I admire and love this book so much because as a parent myself, when my boys were little, I loved to have holiday books. And we'd actually read them all the time, but especially at holiday time. And so I'm so grateful to talk about your book and share it with our audience. So, which of course is available everyone on Amazon and we'll link below. So, JoAnn, can you tell me when did you start writing?
Well, actually, I started writing when I wrote this book because the school that I taught at would always ask me to bring one of my Irish Wolfhounds over to school on St. Patrick's Day and tell the children in an assembly about uh, Wolfhounds. And so I would take one of my dogs, and of course, they're very large. They come up to your waist, and the males weigh about 180 pounds.
Wow.
And so the children, there were probably about 300 children at a time sitting in an assembly. And I like to um, share what I had. So I had my hands uh, empty. So in order to have my hands empty, I had to hand my dog to somebody. So I would always hand my
They're big.
dog, my Irish Wolfhound, to a non-dog person.
Oh, I love that.
And they were always very frightened of how they would act, and whether it would be able to control them. And the kids would all laugh. So I did that every year. I picked somebody that was a non-dog person to
Oh,
give the dog to.
I
But I one year I finally decided, that was about the year before I retired. I decided that I didn't want to keep using the same kinds of material I'd used over the past years. So I wrote a story.
Mhm.
And so that book is what I wrote.
I
And
love it.
I and when I got finished telling the story, that I knew that it was, yeah, I wrote it in a style that would be acceptable to kindergarten through third grade, and which is what my book is aimed at particularly. And I I knew that it was doing well because I didn't have anybody say a peep. They were
Wow.
quiet the entire time that I read the story. And I say read because I didn't have the book then. I just
Of
was.
course, you were just reading the story you didn't have.
And
So the
so
adventures of the
they
Wolfhound and the Leprechauns.
why you should really write that down. And so a week or two later, I wrote the story down, and then I stuffed it somewhere. I don't know where. And then after I retired in 2014, I met Paul Jackson.
Mhm.
And the next year, Paul and I got married. And he saw this book and he said, well, you really should turn it into a book and get it published.
Mhm.
And so he bugged me about that. So I finally did, and he arranged it for me so that it formatted it so properly. And I looked for several people to illustrate it,
Right.
and the type that I really, really wanted,
Mhm.
very expensive.
Very extensive.
And so,
Illustrations can be
anyway, I found a
very.
young woman that she was a senior in high school that owned Irish Wolfhounds.
Mhm.
So she knew what the Wolfhound should look like. And she really got the essence,
Yes.
because a lot of people don't, they, they just don't get it.
They just don't get it. Yeah. Yep.
And their ear set is different than other dogs. And because it's kind of a folded back. It's
Mhm.
thick and
Mhm.
it's not hang down.
Right. Right. Right.
Just a little different, and she just got the whole personality, and so
I agree.
now a she's now a junior in college.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's
It's been
tremendous.
that long since she did the
That
illustrations.
is amazing.
And
It is.
she's a lovely young woman, and she's going to be an art teacher. Is what she's.
Really,
Yes,
this is one of my favorites. I think that she did an extraordinary job. Really, really
yes.
extraordinary
I
job.
was very pleased, and she came up with the idea of the shape of the leprechauns.
Oh, she
And
did.
yes, and I thought that was pretty cute.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I had not
Absolutely.
thought of that, and
Mhm.
so anyway, that's how I got started. So that was my first serious book. I had written a book before, but it was a novel, but I had not, and I still haven't published
Still
it.
haven't published
I
it.
named it, and I haven't published it yet. So,
And so how did you actually hear about me? I remember through.
oh, okay. Well, I have this friend that I was associated with named Don Sellers, and his previous wife's name was Barbara, and Barbara and I have had some conversations, and she mentioned Jennifer Bright. And before that, I had looked at a number of publishers and agents, and saw that it was very difficult to get noticed because there are so many people writing so many books. And so, anyway, she recommended that Jennifer look at my book,
Mhm.
and so that's how we got started.
Yep, and I remember and just liking you instantly and liking your story and the art. And so, yep, exactly. And so, how did you come up with the actual story for your book? Was it hard and the actual characters?
Well, not really. First of all, I know that uh, repeating some kinds of things is good for young children's stories. And
Absolutely.
so I have had Irish Wolfhounds for 50 years,
Wow.
so I'm very familiar with their characteristics. And I wanted to have a story that showed the nobility and the loyalty of the dogs, because those are some of their premier uh, characteristics. They are very, very brave and very loyal dogs.
That's something that I love about this story very much, JoAnn, is it really introduces people to this dog breed that many people have probably never seen or
Yeah,
certainly owned. And they're really extraordinary dogs.
yes. In the beginning, of the book, I talk about the time that the book was set in, and
Yes.
then at the end of the book, I show a picture of one of my last wolfhounds, and then I um, tell some facts that we
That's
that are commonly known about wolfhounds.
And I think that these are the facts. I think that that was something very special and unique that you did, JoAnn, because I think that as the parent or loved one is reading your book to the child or children, they might not know very much about Irish Wolfhounds. And so for you integrating this into the book, it's just another layer of
Yeah.
knowledge and information you're sharing in the book.
And then I added a poem about a wolfhound that describes their braveness and kindness.
Exactly,
There's
exactly.
Tynan. That's my
Absolutely.
last wolfhound.
This was your last Wolfhound.
Yes, his name
Yes.
was Tynan. I named him after Ronan Tynan, the Irish tenor.
Oh, that's really cool, JoAnn. That's really cool. How
Yeah.
about what did you find anything challenging about writing or publishing your book?
Well, in in publishing this book, the biggest thing probably was finding an illustrator that would
Yeah.
do the proper thing. And because so many people just don't understand. Uh, but in general, one of the things in finding a publisher was they always ask you, what did you do? What is your resume?
Uh-huh. Yes.
And
Yes.
that, so I had to go back
Mhm.
and decide, what can I do to have a resume?
Right.
And so I had the opportunity to write a couple of little blurbs in an online newspaper about my husband's concert band and their upcoming concerts. And then afterwards, talking about them, she wanted articles about that. So that somebody like that publishes
Uh-huh.
romance stuff. So I've written one that's called Woman Who Walks with Words.
Oh, I like that. That's a great title.
And it's about a man
Mhm.
and a woman who are going west.
Nice. Nice.
And they get taken in by a group of Indians. And
Interesting.
she's given that name by them. So anyway,
I like
that's what
that. That's beautiful, JoAnn. That's beautiful. Wow. Yeah, it's really
and then there's my memoirs.
Oh, you have your memoirs?
Well, I've started them a couple of times and
It's such an extraordinary life. Do you have any tips to share, JoAnn? Do you have a top
oh
travel
yeah,
tip or a top publishing tip?
yes. For publishing is to build a resume.
That's a good one. That's a
Yeah,
very good one. Build a resume.
because when I first started looking, everybody would ask me, "What have you done?"
What have you done? Yep.
And I
Very
hadn't
good.
done anything.
Excellent tip.
Travel, I have a very important travel tip.
Okay.
When you to make your reservations,
Mhm.
be sure you have a copy in writing of your reservation number.
That's a great tip.
I I went
Yeah.
I went to a dog show in Canada to a small town,
Mhm.
and they
That is wonderful. And thank you so much for talking to me, JoAnn. I'm going to show your wonderful book again, The Adventures of the Wolfhound and the
well,
Leprechauns.
thank you for publishing it. It was a pleasure dealing with you.
Thank you,
And
JoAnn. Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure working with you as well. And I just am, my hat is off to you at all that you have written and
now
accomplished.
I've got to now I've got to think about publishing.
There you go.
I'll be talking to you.
Thank you, friends. And please like
Okay,
and subscribe for more. Have a great day.
okay, bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.